Shit. I wish I could relapse. I never fucking quit, bro. Just doing more than ever. Dealer on speed dial. I'm about to relapse on just being a violent motherfucker. Is what's about to happen. I want to be violent in a video game. This is definitely worse than the last go around. Last go around, he still had people on him that would tell him no. This is what happens when you get somebody that has these goals and they put yes men around them. Hey, look, I heard that. So they're doing those kratom, just general kratom isn't so bad. But I heard that like 7-0 or 8-0 or whatever the fuck it's called. It's a number than O kratom where it's like an extract. I heard it's some of the worst shit to fucking get off of. Like it's fucking killing people and sending people into seizures just trying to come off of it. And they're selling it as a safe alternative, and it doesn't seem to be. I don't know. I haven't done it.
Let them burn it out. Sell them to the richest buyer.
Kratom's one thing. The extracts seem to be much worse, but I don't do that shit. I ate a bunch of mushrooms and watched the fucking lights vibrate.
Fade away, we feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. Listen up now, because we're never dropping out. Beat the odds, beat the big house. The brains are bigger than the doubt. We've been thinking for ourselves, never let the truth fade away. This is bigger than ourselves, we won't let the world burn away. Burn away, we feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. To blame, haters face the world's mistakes. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. And we feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. To blame, haters face the world's mistakes. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway.
That's pretty good music timer relationship there. Did you like that? I don't know if it's just cause it's nothing like heroin detox. It doesn't. like I said, I haven't taken it. I'm just talking to people. Like, the way I found it is there's this guy that seems to be a genuine good guy on TikTok, and he came up with something called the Quit Kits, and it's like it's all natural ingredients, blah blah blah, and it's supposed to help people taper off stuff. And there were people like they were talking about heroin, and there were people that were talking about fucking Suboxone, all kinds of shit, right? And they take his Quit Kit. It's like $100. It's like a 3-month supply, and it's supposed to like there's one in the morning you take that's supposed to like get you up and going because everybody knows they like a bump in the morning. And then there's one in the afternoon when you're kind of feeling low. And there's another one, which is the biggest thing, like a lot of people with withdrawals is like going to bed, like restless legs and shit. There's another one that helps you sleep. It's just like one pill. I think you take one. I don't know how many you take, but you take one from each bottle 3 times a day or 1 time a day, but 3 bottles. Anyways, all his comments are full of people talking about how crazy it is getting off fucking kratom. So I don't know. I've taken like regular kratom and then just like regular kratom in pill form or like by a spoonful, but that was it. They didn't have fucking kratom extracts when I was doing kratom.
Hey daddies, it's me, the Linda Binda from TikTok. I wanted to make this video because I wanted to thank you for watching Cold Beer Confessionals
Quit Kit.
with
It's
Will
a 90-day
I think that's just
get off thing.
incredible.
It seems like it
I've
works
watched a few
for people.
episodes, and I'm just like very
Or he's
intrigued.
paying a lot of bots.
You know what I'm most
I like reading those
intrigued in
stories.
is Big Daddy's meat stick. I heard that it's very thick, like a good old German sausage. You know, Linda and her coochie loves that. Oh, never mind. Let's not go there. Anyways, I hope you have a good show and enjoy it as you can. There's a lot of weird things that go on, especially when it comes from the realm of Linda Bindaland. So, enjoy the show. Thanks for watching. Peace out.
Welcome, everybody. I am Will Bird, and this is the Cold Beer Confessional. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being here for the show. Yeah, for Kratom 70, opioids, Quick Crit, tryquickkit.com. I think it's like $100 or something. I looked it up. I don't need it, but I was interested in all the stories because it seems like it helped a lot of people. If this is something that actually helps that this guy come up with, hell yeah, I think we should fucking start distributing the shit. The problem is people will get this and bounce back and forth and back and forth. Kratom, and most of all, 70, your product has changed my life in the right direction. Hell, I hope it works, and it's not just like the guy scamming people. I don't know. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for being here. Try the Quick Kit today, I guess. What's up? What's happening? I don't know. Depressing. That's what's happening. Fucking with my blood pressure, bro. Making me violent, dude. I've even noticed like the way that I respond to people on social medias. It's getting more vitriol. It's making me violent. I want to knock some sense into some people. And I'm not usually like that. Usually I'm the laugh it off guy kind of deal. Like, oh, you're fucking stupid. Not anymore. Times she is a changing. Let's see. I found the video. Of course, right after I got offline, I couldn't stop looking for that fucking video I couldn't find last night. So at like 3 a.m. this morning, I found the video. Legend found a copy of it, and a couple other people found a copy. Jess found a copy. Somebody from Facebook found a copy. A bunch of people found a copy of the video. This is the video that I wanted to show last night, but I just couldn't find it. Oh, I guess I need to hold on music. It doesn't matter. There's no audio in it anyways. So we see the road here, and these are all ICE vehicles. These are all, from what I can tell, most of these vehicles right here are ICE rental vehicles. And we see ICE has some type of operation here. There's multiple agents standing here to the side. That's their vehicles there. Some of them are like in the bike walking lane. Some of them are parked. I don't know where this story about a vehicle stuck in the snow comes from. I don't even know why Christy Nome said that. That was just weird, but. How many times have they extended the closing date on the Jiggle scam? And what I think is the takeaway from this video, people are saying, oh, well, look how long she was there. She was asking for trouble. Fuck you. I think the takeaway is she was waving cars around her. Multiple cars. Multiple ICE agents drove right past her. It was like, fuck it, you're going on about their day. Until this guy decides to pull behind her, and then another guy decides to block her in. They're backing down a one-way street. They're like all over this street, right? That's why they were out there warning people, is basically they've like taken over this block. There's also some stupid-ass rumor that people are spreading that she drove 5 hours away to go chase ICE down. No, she's from this town. She used to live 5 hours away. All right, so there she sits, right? She's in one lane. There's like a bike and walking and parking lane behind her. She's in one lane. That's her. She's dancing. They're listening to music and dancing. And there's nobody, there's no eyesight, there's nothing around her at all. Road is open right here. And you'll see cars drive by her. All right, now I can turn the audio back on. This fucking Childish Gambino is finally gone. All right. There was audio to this in the original video, but nothing meaningful. Like, it was just, I don't know, it was just a bunch of fucking, you couldn't really hear anything on the audio. All right, so they all start loading up. Different ICE agents. These ICE agents are pulling out. Some of them's loading up still. All right, so we see this Ford Explorer come out. Any car you're seeing going down this road now is passing her, right? They couldn't, they're driving right past her. Yeah, a lot of whistles and beeps. So that car passed her. There's one. These cars put, that car passes her. There's another one. That's an ICE agent. Like, all these cars are just driving right past her. She's even waving some of them past. Right? That car passes her. That car passes. Another car passes. Now they got out again. They're talking about it again. All these cars just pass her. And then our shooter comes up and instead of passing her, drives behind her, pulls in the same way she does, and parks. All right, so there she still is, right? There's nobody around her, really. A couple walking a dog. She's waving people, like right now, her arms out the window, waving people around her. I don't know why she's parked at such an angle. I have no idea. She's not technically blocking anybody, right? Because they can just go around her, and she's not trying to block them in. She's not trying to block the whole road. I don't know why she's parked in this way. Big white SUV comes. Either way, we see like fucking 8, 10, 12 cars drive right past her. These guys are going around her. All right, now this is our shooter. She waved him past, right? And she's videotaping now. This is our shooter. He goes behind her. Another car passes her. Another car passes her. These are all ICE agents. All these agents passing her. Going right past her. But not our shooter. He goes behind her. There's her wife filming. He goes behind her, then pulls up kind of adjacent, right, to her. Like, so many fucking people went by. That's her wife with a dog? Yeah, maybe. There was another person there too, but. So many people went by. There's some more people videotaping, standing outside, blowing whistles. Here come the crowd because ICE was on up the road. And these are the people that were up here probably filming. Now they're walking down because they're stopping again. I just don't understand. So many people went past her. Some of them are continuing to go past her. I don't understand what made them stop. So she starts moving, right? When we first see her, when the camera swings back, she's waving people around her like this. They're not going, so she starts backing up. Watch when you first see her hand when the camera swings. She's waving people around her, okay? And she's backing up out of the lane. Yeah, it's a one-way street. So now she's blocking even less and waving people around her. She's backing over into this icy part. That's when he comes up and records, and she says, "It's cool, man. I'm not mad." She's almost completely out of that lane now, right? Almost. They're stopping. If anybody's stopping traffic, it's ice at this point. Wife comes over and says something to him here. She acts like she's going to go to pull back out here, but this car is pulling out. So she stops and goes, "Go ahead." Right? We can even see her. Like, I don't know if she's leaving or pulling or straightening up. But she goes to pull out, sees the vehicle moving, says, "No, go ahead." She waves another person around her. This is the truck that will not go around her. Instead, it jumps out and starts fucking screaming. One guy's screaming, "Stop." And the other guy's screaming, "Get out." Like, and then that's where this video segment cuts out. That's the wife talking to the officer. He's over there switching hands because he's getting ready to shoot a woman in the face. And the video stops basically right there. Right there where they jiggle her handle. But what was the threat? Where were there people stuck in the ice? Where was there a threat? Where were they being attacked? Right? Christy Nome said, "Our agents were stuck in the ice because the weather in Minnesota. Protesters came up and attacked them viciously with snowballs, and she tried to run them over." I don't know if more of the video exists or not, but it's not in the places that I found it. And it was scrubbed, like it was up. Then it was scrubbed. It was so weird. I could not find it last night. And even the ones I found had just been recently uploaded. Like it wasn't like I just found like, I don't know. It was weird. They were all recently uploaded. Like somebody stole them and uploaded them. There was even a comment in here that said something like, "Where'd you get this video? Blah, blah, blah. It was on so-and-so's account. Now it's not." Weird. Very strange, chat. I don't know. Literally when I found the video, it was like, "Oh, this video's been uploaded like an hour ago." But I know I watched it earlier in the fucking day, so that doesn't make any sense to me. So I don't know if it was scrubbed or if people were moving. Weird. Here's the other one I found with the audio, but like there's not much to gain from the audio.
Did Renee Nicole good? The head ICE officer, Jonathan Rock.
I don't know who's in this van. I can't tell if it's ICE or if it's another citizen or something. I don't know. It's something in her house. She's got a dog. The only thing we're actually hearing from outside, I don't know if she's videotaping through a window. The only thing we're actually hearing from outside really is the horns and the whistles. So there's nothing really to gain from the audio. I was just showing you. I found another side of it. Here's this. This guy does video for a living. Here's his analysis and breakdown.
Did Renee Nicole Good hit ICE officer Jonathan Ross with her car? I wasn't planning on making a video about this, but I keep seeing people saying either that the footage proves he wasn't hit or that it shows he was hit, and both of those can't be true at the same time. And I'll be honest, when I saw this clip, I thought, that really does look like he was hit. Maybe I was wrong. So I gathered a bunch of angles, synchronized them up in an editing software to look frame by frame at what happened, and it turns out we can arrive at a definitive conclusion, so we'll do that together. Now, I'm not going to show blood or gore, but this is a sensitive incident, so viewer discretion is advised. We start with this angle shot by bystander Caitlin Collins.
By the way, when we see the dog in the back of the car, her dog in the back of the car, I think that kind of proves that she wasn't agitated or upset or, in a the dog's as calm as can be. And usually when the owner's agitated or upset or in some type of rage, the dog would at least be shifting back and forth or something. The dog's just chilling.
Which shows Renee Nicole Good waving the first ICE car to pass in front of her, which they do. Then she waits for the second car to pass, but they stop and 2 ICE officers exit the vehicle. At this point, you can hear her say, "I'm pulling out." They tell her to get out of the car. They start yanking on the door handle and reach inside her vehicle. This already disproves claims by DHS head Christine Ohm, who said that she was belligerent towards them and attacked them as they were pushing their cars out in the snow. Now we get to this angle shot by Jonathan Ross himself, who's the ICE officer who killed Renee Nicole Good. Importantly, this was shot on a handheld smartphone, not a body.
We did figure out why he videoed, or why ICE agents are using their cell phones. Apparently, there is this agenda being pushed out by the current administration that they want more content from cell phones on arrests and activities and stuff so they can feed it into the social media machine, right? We see all these social media videos. They're actually asking agents to get good, high-quality video of arrests or encounters and to send them to social media teams within the agency to put out more social media videos.
And when he passes in front of her car window, she tells him,
"That's fine, dude. I'm not mad at you."
Which further shows that she was being calm and polite and trying to de-escalate the situation so she could leave. As far as I understand, this is her wife, which you could argue is being slightly more confrontational, but 1, she has every right to be, and 2, she's not behind the wheel, so her behavior is not at issue at all. Moments before the shooting, you can see on Ross's camera that she's turning the steering wheel right.
Sorry.
You can also see the wheels of the car turning right from the other angle as Ross steps out of the path.
What do we think? Was he hit or no?
The vehicle. Okay, third angle. This was posted by ABC5, and ICE defenders say this shows Ross being hit. This is what is professionally referred to as potato quality footage. It's a blob of pixels, so it's really hard to see what's happening. But there are 3 really important things we can get from this footage. 1, the moment before the car purportedly hits him, if you synchronize the footage with the other angle, you can see that he was already outside of the path of the car.
It's when he takes his shooting stance. He's not getting hit by the car. He is drawing and getting back into a shooting stance when his legs move like that. It's almost like he jumps into a shooting stance.
car. It only looks like he was hit because this is from the same angle as a Hollywood film would shoot an action scene to make it look like a punch connects with an actor's face. 2. Despite the potato quality, as far as I can tell, these are his legs. I'm gonna highlight them in white so you can see what they're doing. You can see him shifting sideways as the car starts to move forward. Importantly, he stays on both feet for the entire incident, which contradicts claims saying that the footage shows one of his legs being swept up by the hood of the car. There's a 3D recreation of the incident by an NGO called Index Investigation based on the angle from the back. And based on the footage, they depict him.
I want to see that. Hold on. Index.ngo maybe? Preliminary analysis.
No! No!
By the way, I want to show something else. Hold on. I should have showed it earlier. All the agents are fucking sliding. Watch this. Even the agent that comes to walk up to the door. We see one fall right in front of the truck. We see the shooter sliding when the car's moving. Even the one that comes and jiggles the handle. Watch his feet right here. The one over here from the driver's side, right? We can just barely see his beanie. When he comes over, watch him slide. You see him slide as he grabs the door. He slides again while the car's moving.
No!
This is all ice. Every bit of this is physical ice on the frozen water on the ground.
Oh, shit! Shame!
I want to see the 3D render here.
Shame! Oh my fucking god!
Dude, he's got to be safe when he's dumping the rest of these rounds into her. Like, that's insane. First shot, still clear, but he's at an angle here. Second shot, right through the fucking driver's side window. Point blank range. And these fucking retards is like, oh, we're taught to shoot until it stops moving or until the threat's neutralized, or you keep, if it's worth shooting once, it's worth shooting twice. You're just a fucking dumbass. No one actually teaches that. These are weird sayings that have grown up in this macho man, vet bro fucking community, but that is not good training. That is shit training. Third shot is from right here. Holy fuck. Why his phone's in his hand and pointing to the sky. All right, anyways, back to this. Nope, wrong one.
Leaning on the side of the hood as he's shooting in the side window, which is exactly what we can see in the potato video. And 3, this is the most important one. The snippet that is used from the potato video that is circulating most widely online as a case closed he was hit was tampered with. It doesn't have original sound. It's a less than 1 second clip playing on a loop, and it's been sped up to make it look like the car is going faster than it was. This is part of a deliberate disinformation.
Or call her like someone said, why would he reholster so quick? Yeah. Usually you'd at least take a couple seconds to clear the area, right? Make sure there's no other issues or you're not going to get shot in the back or some shit. And then call her a fucking bitch after he kills her, right? Fucking bitch. Like what? Whoa, bro.
Campaign to check.
You got issues.
So it's not your fault if you were misled by a clip that was tampered with. Finally, back to the officer's perspective. They say you can see him and hear him being hit by the car and that his body cam is knocked off. But remember, this isn't a body cam. It's a smartphone in his left hand. All you can see and hear is him pulling his gun out, using his left hand with his phone in it to lean on the hood of the car and firing 3 times. And cherry on top, the last
Getting hit and not even dropping your phone.
thing she said to him was,
That's fine, dude. I'm not mad at you.
and this is the first thing he said after killing her. and it only got worse from there, where they didn't even try to give her first aid, and they prevented.
Yes, and you guys know that this guy's been there for like 20 years or whatever. Was it back in 2014? I don't know. Maybe fucking 10 years ago. Did a study. CBP did a study and literally banned agents from standing in front of vehicles because they found that agents were using standing in front of and blocking in vehicles as a pretext to shoot people. They were literally setting it up that way to shoot people. Hold on, I'll show you this study.
Bystanders from helping her, including one who identified himself as a medical professional. I hope this was helpful. Let me know if I changed your mind and follow for more. Did Renee Nicole-Good?
I talked about it last night, but I think I just glossed over it. Mr. Global did a video on it too. U.S. border agents intentionally stepped in front of moving vehicles to justify shooting at them.
In 2014, an internal review of the U.S. Border Patrol found that on 67 different occasions during a 2-year period, that U.S. border agents intentionally stepped in front of moving vehicles.
This is an internal investigation and found that, hey, we think that agents are stepping in front of vehicles literally to put themselves in a scenario where they can shoot. They're antagonizing. They're using it as pretext. We don't want any of our, and that's when that new guidance came out. You guys remember I read you their own training documents that say, if there's any other action you could take, jump, leap, run, back up, sidestep, any other action you could take, you have to take it before shooting.
Just to justify shooting the people in them? Yeah. And that was from 2010 to 2012 is when that was in fact happening. And Jonathan Ross, the man who shot the woman in Minneapolis, was there from 2007 to 2015 working for the Border Patrol.
Especially after he walks around the car, she says, I'm not mad. Then he gets pissy with the woman's wife or whatever, right? And she probably pisses him off. He switches, that's when he switches his hand. So this guy, knowing that this is a pretext, he was part of CBP back then, right? Knowing this is pretext, mad at her because she told him to go get some fucking lunch. He switches his phone hand then to his left hand, his non-dominant hand, his non-shooting hand, and then goes and stands directly in front of her vehicle.
Yep. Now I wonder where that report is and if his name is in it. Because when you watch the video now with that knowledge, it looks a little bit different. Yeah, looks like he stopped right there where he did on purpose. Yeah.
It's almost like he was in a position to where he had pretext to shoot if she moved at all, but also he knew his life wasn't in danger because he's right at the edge, right? He can just step out of the way, not to mention there's 100 foot of just empty fucking area behind him.
Somebody has to get that report. Tell your friends.
They got it. They got the report. Hold on. I read the report yesterday. I just didn't show it on the show.
Well, that was quick. I asked if someone could find the report, and they did. What are we talking about? The internal report produced by Customs and Border Patrol, which stated that U.S. border agents were intentionally stepping in front of moving vehicles to justify shooting at them. This article came out in 2014. It was based on a report that I couldn't find, but fortunately, someone else found it for me, my good friend Victoria. And here is the report from CBP. And right here on page 8, they found that Border Patrol agents were intentionally stepping in front of vehicles to create justification to shoot the people inside. Most reviewed cases involved nonviolent suspects who posed no threat other than a moving vehicle. It states they were doing this out of frustration. Once again, Jonathan Ross, the man who shot.
They were doing it out of frustration. Their own internal investigation found that agents were doing this out of frustration.
They were doing this out of frustration.
Based on a review of the submitted cases, it appears that CBP practices allows shooting at the driver of any suspected vehicle that comes in the direction of agents. It is suspected that in many of the vehicle shooting cases, the subject driver was attempting to flee from the agents who intentionally put themselves into the exit path of the vehicle, thereby exposing themselves to additional risk and creating justification for the use of deadly force. In most of these cases, the agents have stated that they were shooting at the driver of a vehicle that was coming at them and posing an imminent threat to their life. In some cases, passengers were struck by agents' gunfire. Little focus has been placed on defensive tactics that could have been used by shooting agents, such as getting out of the way. It should be recognized that a half-ounce, 200-grain bullet is unlikely to stop a 4,000-pound moving vehicle. And if the driver of the approaching vehicle is disabled by a bullet, the vehicle will become a totally unguided threat. Like, even if you do kill them, now you have a moving 4,000-pound vehicle that no one's in charge of. Obviously, shooting at a moving vehicle can pose a risk to bystanders, including other agents. The case suggests that some of the shots at suspect vehicles are taken out of frustration when agents who are on foot have no other way of detaining suspects who are attempting to flee in their vehicle.
Once again,
He was definitely aiming towards innocent people. There were two people on the sidewalk. Her wife was back there. The dog was back there. And there's his shooting backdrop was houses.
Jonathan Ross, the man who shot the woman in Minneapolis, was a part of CBP during those years. He was there when that was happening. I will leave a link to that in the comments so you can read it for yourself. Thanks. Well, that was quick. I asked if someone could find the report, and they did. What are we talking about? The internal report produced by Customs
Pretty crazy.
and Border Patrol, which stated that U.S. border agents were intentionally stepping in front of moving vehicles to justify shooting at them. This article came out in 20.
And then they have no qualms, right? She can't even try to drive away because it's too close to an agent, right? Not trying to hit him. They're not even arguing she was trying to hit him. They're just saying, well, he didn't know the difference, and he was drugged by a car, and he's scared, and he thinks she's trying. Whatever. She can't even drive close to an agent because he might. But they have no qualms about running over protesters, running over fleeing suspects, fucking hitting people and turning them goddamn flips, then getting out and handcuffing them. Which is it? Are we using vehicles or are you not using vehicles?
Mr. Global, talk to us about what you think will happen in Venezuela. Sure. I think over the next.
There was 3 shots. Only one of them went through the windshield. The other 2 were through the driver's side window. We just watched the 3 shots. Here's where he's at when he shot. The first shot, he's still to the side, and his hand's on the hood, but still at an angle where he's safe. That's where he shot the first shot. Second shot, point blank through a window, through the driver's side window. There's one bullet hole, and it's right here beside her mirror, almost like from this angle. Second shot, right there. Third shot is fucking parallel with her. Just shooting her in the fucking head. Well, we shoot till they stop moving. Well, if you can shoot once, you can shoot twice. Just stupid fucking excuses in the comments of the video I made.
Next 12 to 18 months, Chevron could possibly increase their production by.
Oh, I forgot about this. Hold on. Dr. J will not be here tonight. Thank you for letting me know, Dr. J.
And you can see right here.
I can't believe people fucking listen to Asmongold. Asmongold's like the fucking most useless, disgusting, hoarder, nasty fucking dead rats and cockroaches in his house piece of shit. And a whole group of young men treat him as if that's where they get all their information from.
Wasn't in front of the vehicle, then he wouldn't have been able to make this shot.
If he wasn't in front of the vehicle, he wouldn't have been able to make this shot. Really, because the camera angle that I'm sitting at right now is not in front of the vehicle. And I can make this shot right now straight down the camera. Actually, if anything, I'm probably too far to the left to make that shot.
It's pretty fucking obvious. Yep, it's pretty fucking obvious.
Rat fuck.
And you can see right here, if the cop wasn't in front of the vehicle, then he wouldn't have been able to make this shot.
I don't know who listens to that. Asmongold's so goddamn dumb.
Maybe 50,000 barrels a day, probably 100 at the very.
Yes, I think they know that. I don't think he's intentionally been like, okay, send somebody out Minneapolis and have them shoot somebody today. I think he knows the more interactions that they have, dragging people away and interactions here and roadblocks and running people over and shit, they're going to be with the public more, and eventually something's bound to cook off, right? You could probably look at a graph and see for every 100,000 police interactions we have with anybody, maybe you're a murderer or maybe you're a fucking speeder or maybe you're a soccer mom. For every 100,000 interactions with police we have every year, we have this much violence that comes from it.
most under the best conditions, just using the existing assets they have and new permits that they're going to be granted. They don't really have to invest a ton of money to achieve that. As far as across the country, I don't see big oil going in at all and making those huge investments. You would likely see what is called wildcatters, a bunch of small independent oil men. They might go in there and grab a bunch of low-hanging fruit, oil that's available where they don't have to invest a great deal of money. And what all that means is very small production gains in the country of Venezuela over the next 3 to 5 years. You're not going to see it return back to where it once was. I think at best in the next 3 to 5 years, maybe 200,000 barrels a day of production increases across the country, which has no impact on the global markets, has no impact on U.S. gas prices. If we somehow enter into
And they still sell it at market price. Like, I don't
really high oil prices, all of that can change. But with current market conditions and where we expect them to go, there's just not going to be a huge appetite to go try to produce oil that you can only sell for $40 a barrel. You likely need oil to get to $80 a barrel and have expectations it's going to stay there for a significant amount of time before people will invest any, reasonable amount of money in Venezuela.
I was just checking the rest of Mr. Global stories. I haven't seen
Calling
them.
these protesters terrorists, vandals, and domestic threats. Calling these protesters terrorists, vandals, and domestic threats. In fact, the Attorney General just said, quote, "These are not citizens, and anyone taking part in these demonstrations will be viewed as the enemy." Language like that is widely viewed as a justification or a precursor for the increased use of force.
What country do you think he's talking about?
Ooh. Ooh.
You're not sure, are you? No, that's the whole point of this video. He's talking about Iran. Totally could have been talking about the United States, though. I mean, come on. Is there anything he said there that doesn't completely apply to the United States in this moment? No, absolutely nothing. I bet a big chunk of you folks thought he was talking about what's going on in Minneapolis. No, it's what's happening in Tehran. Yeah. Something to think about. Thanks.
And can't tell the difference.
So Donald Trump has likely just sunk any possibility of big U.S. oil companies investing in Venezuela because he's trying to strong-arm them into going. Let me tell you what I'm talking about. This is an executive order signed by Donald Trump safeguarding Venezuelan oil revenue for the good of the American and Venezuelan people. Oh, man. As chief executive and commander-in-chief, I find that the threat of attachment or the imposition of other judicial processes against the foreign government deposit funds as defined in Section 2 of this order will materially harm the national security and foreign policy of the United States.
I had some fucking goddamn fat fucking piece of shit make a TikTok video saying, "Oh, you wouldn't go there. You wouldn't do what it takes. And now you're talking bad about..." Motherfucker, I've been there. I've done that shit. Get the fuck out of here.
What does that mean? Donald Trump is saying that the future sale of any oil out of Venezuela cannot be used to repay creditors, cannot be used to pay the companies that are owed billions of dollars by Venezuela. Specifically, ConocoPhillips, who's owed about $10 billion, ExxonMobil, who's owed about $12 billion, the Koch brothers, or Koch Industries. He's literally trying to force the issue that oil companies that have lost billions in Venezuela can't get their money back through the normal legal process unless they go back and spend billions more. That's brilliant. That's brilliant.
That'll
That's
work.
A great way to get them to go back.
The businessman.
He's a moron. Thanks. So Donald Trump has likely just sunk any possibility of big U.S.
All you have to do is say to China, how many windmill areas do you have in China? So far, they're not able to find any.
China has more windmills and windmill capacity than any country in the world. China invests heavily in every fucking form of energy production. Yeah, they have the largest capacity in the world. As of late 2025, China's total installed wind capacity exceeds 570 gigawatts, the largest of any nation in the world at any time. I know he's dumb, but I also think someone briefed him on this. Are they lying to him? Yes, China burns coal. Yes, they fucking don't give much of a fuck about pollution and shit like that. But they've invested every form. They have the largest fucking solar farms. They have the largest fucking wind. They have gigantic fucking wave generators. They have giant fucking hydroelectric dams that are basically built like paper mache. Who the fuck why is he lying? The president of the United States can't figure out that China has windmills. Or he's lying. One of the two.
All you have to do is say to China, how many windmill areas do you have in China? So far, they're not able to find any. They use coal and they use oil and gas and some nuclear, not much, but they don't have windmills.
I haven't seen this Mr. Global video, but I know this to be facts. China has more windmills than anybody else.
They make them and sell them to suckers like Europe and suckers like the United States before.
Yeah, here they are. I found them. Found them, Mr. President. China uses more wind power than any country in the world by far, and they're responsible for 74% of the current wind projects in the world. They use more wind than coal or natural gas. Yes.
They also have more solar. Over 200 gigawatts of solar was just installed in 2023 alone.
In China, it produces enough power to supply 8.7 million homes with over 7,000 wind turbines. And oh, by the way, it's only halfway done. Yeah. And nestled within this giant wind farm are these massive solar farms that are surrounded by rows and rows of wind turbines. It's important to note, especially for you Trump supporters, he's speaking to a room full of people that he's trying to get $100 billion out of. Venezuela and the issues they have.
And the oil executives know this to be true too. I guarantee you it wasn't the first shot that killed her. I'm 99% sure. Judging by the angle and shit, like at best that might have been like a shoulder shot. I would say he probably missed the first shot if I had to guess. But the 2 point blank through her window, it's kind of hard to miss that, even one-handed, even holding your phone, even on us.
That's only half of it. The other half of the reason there's no chance in hell big oil's going to Venezuela is because this is the moron that's trying to talk him into it. Yeah. Thanks.
All you have to do is say to China.
So somebody explain to me, is he lying or does he he doesn't have this information? It seems wild to me that the most powerful man in the world can't figure out, does China have windmills? Or is he just lying because he thinks it sounds good? Like, these are oil guys. They love oil. So I'm going to tell them that we're going to use more oil because that's all China uses. I think he's in a place where he repeats a lie enough that he thinks it's truth. Like all his rally lies. I don't even know. That's not a complete sentence. Sweden lost 12 billion because of 12 billion what? $12 billion money.
How many windmill areas do you have?
God damn.
And oil companies will be spending at least $100 billion of their money, not the government's money. They don't need government money. But they need government protection and need government security.
That was our president kicking off the meeting today with the oil companies, saying that they were going to spend $100 billion in Venezuela. That was right before they said, no, we're not. The CEO of Exxon, Darren Woods, literally said it's uninvestable. ConocoPhillips didn't commit to anything at all. Chevron said they're going to focus on their existing operations.
Venezuela and the United States together, we have 55% of the oil in the world. The United States is number one. We have them drilling. Drill, baby, drill was my campaign. And
except we have less oil rigs than when you took office. We're drilling less in the U.S. because oil is so cheap currently.
And Chris, I think we're setting records on drilling right now.
That was Donald Trump.
Not at all.
Telling oil executives that the United States and Venezuela has 55% of the world's oil. No, seriously, he said that. It's like 20. It's like 20. And then he told those same oil executives that we are drill, baby, drill. Those oil executives, which have laid off tens of thousands of U.S. oil and gas workers, and also shut down about 15% of all the drilling in the United States. That's what happened today. Yeah, thanks.
And oil companies will be spending at least $100 billion of their money, not the government's money. They don't need government money. But they need.
They don't need it. I'll make them spend their own.
Security.
Oh. A lot of the European markets, especially around wind farms, are turning in losses because they sign, when they're going to build a wind farm, they sign these things called PPAs, which are power purchase agreements. So they go to these gigantic companies that a wind farm would be near, and they say, hey, we want you to buy all your power from us, but we'll cut you a deal on it, okay? And let's say whatever unit of power, let's say, oh, well, power right now is $13 per unit. We'll sell it to you for 10, but you got to buy all of it from us. And they're like, oh, okay, yeah, we can do that. We'll get a little bit of a discount, but we'll buy all of our power from you for the next 10 years. Well, then Russia does something like invades Ukraine and sends the energy market through the fucking roof. And now normal energy is $60 a fucking unit. It costs more to replace. It costs more to produce. It costs more for parts. It costs more for fucking everything. And they're still stuck selling it at $10 per unit. That's what caused I don't know if it was Swedish, but that gigantic fucking wind farm company to go bankrupt in 2023 or 2024 was all their standing PPAs. And then the price of energy skyrocketing. But whatever. I saw Destiny. Enrique Terrio, is that his name? I saw Destiny debating the Proud Boy guy. It did not go good for the Proud Boy guy. He made him admit a couple things. The leader of the Proud Boys, Enrico Terry, something. Destiny versus the World on January 6th. That's part of it. I don't know if I want to watch a fucking 4-hour video, though. Let's do this. I know there's Destiny clips here. Domestic Terrio.
Huge point. You don't have to. You don't lose the whole argument by giving this. I want to make sure that we're on the same factual page.
That he knew.
Hold on.
Do you think that he knew that he was that the crowd was going to peacefully and patriotically march over there? Like, he didn't give a marching order like, "Hey, go storm the Capitol. Hey, go stop the certification election." It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Is what he's saying. Like, you don't expect the crowd. I didn't expect the crowd to do that. I know a lot of people. A lot.
Wait, no, you guys planned this. That's what all the court said. You can't say I didn't expect the crowd to do this when you guys were planning on storming the Capitol long before you even got to DC. Like, your group chat was about breaking into the Capitol, potentially holding hostages, making sure the certification didn't go through. You were convicted on that.
Liberals think that I went over there to go stop the certification election. I wasn't going to do that. And I didn't need the president to tell me to be peaceful and patriotically. I was already both of those things.
Well, so you did know that the Capitol was going to be broken into. It had already happened by the time that speech was over, right? The Proud Boys had literally organized to do this. You guys were involved in breaking through all 3 of the outer barriers, and then finally with Dominic to break into the actual Capitol with the riot shield. So you did know that was going to happen in advance, right? You were in the Capitol the night before and you left because there was a warrant out for your arrest. So
I'll ask you, I asked the prosecutors and defense team, what evidence do you have that I knew that was going to happen? Because you said it as an absolute. So
right, like, we can't afford any goddamn thing here, right? Struggling to get by. Groceries are more expensive than fucking ever. A few categories are down, but across the board they're high. Thank God gas is cheap while everybody that works in the oil field is getting laid off, and we're fucking spending money renovating Venezuela.
You were convicted for this. Didn't you lose in front of a jury on this?
If you consider a jury that during their questioning,
I do. So I do consider that a legitimate jury. It's not a huge point. You don't lose the whole argument by giving this. I want to make sure.
I do consider them a legitimate. If you consider a jury as the thing that happens when you go to court and then people convince those people that you're guilty, yeah, I consider that a jury. Yes.
you ever had these feelings for POTUS before? The United States is like catapulting into and has partially descended into the ocean of autocracy. We have a...
He keeps... So if fucking Lindsey Graham has his way, we're going to fucking Cuba, we're going to Colombia, we're going to Iran, we're going to all these places to depose their leaders.
In 1 year, we have a president who has literally no desire to work with the Congress. He's not at all. They just bragged about creating...
And he's declared everything a national emergency. You guys know he just declared Venezuelan's oil market a national emergency, so Congress can't stop him from doing anything?
A special counsel that they're going to put right in the White House. The president is basically unilaterally doing econ policy, which is unconstitutional and against the law. He's done it with the tariffs. He's running our foreign policy, which is unconstitutional and against the law. He just did it with his invasion into Venezuela. He's running our border policy unilaterally, which is unconstitutional and against the law. He's doing this with War Powers, Alien Enemies Act, and this other bullshit. Like he's an autocratic leader right now. We're the United States of America. This is ridiculous. There's no excuse for our current situation right now. It's absolutely unbelievable to me. He's using the guard. He's deploying the guard against U.S. citizens. He's using the military against U.S. citizens unilaterally, illegally, against the Constitution, against the law. The courts have finally struck down on that. Now he's pulled that shit generally.
I like Destiny's pretty good. This looks like the debate again. There's Enrico Dario.
President Trump speaks to hundreds of thousands of supporters, detailing evidence of election fraud and urging the crowd to march to the Capitol to, quote, peacefully and patriotically make their voices heard, end quote. There is no urging the crowd there. He just says he'll know they'll do it. There is no urging it's about an hour-long speech where he talks about voter fraud. He says we need to fight like hell or we're going to lose our country. He calls everybody in Congress weak. He's here to protest the results of the election. So I just think it's a little bit rich to pretend that there were explicit calls for peace in this. There wasn't. And this was like one thing he said almost at the beginning of the speech. Yeah.
Hey, every time you leave the house, like when you were a kid and you just got your driver's license, does your mom say, "Oh, don't crash"? Like it's retarded to even think that he has to say that every time that he comes out. He said,
maybe he doesn't have to say it every time. No, he doesn't say it every time he comes out. But maybe he should say it when he's called a bunch of people to Washington D.C. to protest the results of the election. Maybe that would be a good thing to say when he's kind of got everybody riled up and he's also saying you need to fight like hell or you're going to lose your country. Maybe it would be a good idea to really stress the peaceful part, especially considering what happened afterwards, right? The full quote is, at the ellipse, President Trump speaks to hundreds...
Or how about he expresses it as soon as there's the first altercation between Capitol Police and the peaceful, love in their heart protesters, right? As soon as they come to that first bike rack, they shove it out of the way and shove some cops down. How about he expresses it right the fuck then? Hey guys, we're not doing it this way. No? He just sat there for 3 hours, right? And watched it happen.
It's not a huge point. You don't lose the whole...
We just watched that
unilaterally overthrowing 7 states worth of votes to pick their own electors would be depriving the American people of their right to vote.
But you're not. But you didn't argue with me when I asked if Mike Pence can do that, and that is a legal solution.
No, he cannot legally do it.
So he couldn't not certify the election or refuse to certify the election.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Well, then if you just
to be clear, do you grant them that, Enrique? That not
hold on.
In no
when we finish watching this clip, I'll read you the national emergency.
legal manner.
You tell me if you think it's a national emergency or not.
Refuse to certify.
Yes. Listen, I give him that. Okay. But what I'm saying, my argument isn't that. My argument is that people.
He admits, that Pence couldn't do this and Trump was lying to everybody.
Thought. We're getting the minds of these people. That people thought that Mike Pence was able to not certify the election.
Because Trump told them.
Maybe Tim has more insight if that's able, or maybe
because Trump told them that. Yes, they think that because Trump told them that. That's the whole point. This is why it's Trump's fault. Yes.
Listen,
I'm talking unilaterally overthrowing 7 states worth of votes.
Got him. All right, here's the national emergency from January 9th. By the authority vested in me as president and by the Constitution and the laws of the United States of America, including International Emergency Economic Powers Act, 50 U.S.C. 1701, IEEPA, the National Emergencies Act, 50 U.S.C. 1601, NEA, and Section 301 of Title III of the United States Code is hereby ordered. As Chief Executive Commander-in-Chief, I find that the threats of attachment or the imposition of other judicial processes against the Foreign Government Deposits Fund, as defined in Section 2 of this order, will materially harm the national security and foreign policy of the United States. Specifically, the attachment or the imposition of other judicial processes against the Foreign Government Deposits Fund will substantially interfere with our critical efforts to ensure economic and political stability in Venezuela. The failure of these critical efforts would jeopardize major foreign policy objectives in the United States, including ending the dangerous influx of illegal immigrants and the flood of illicit narcotics, which has resulted in the death of countless of thousands of American citizens, protecting American interests against actors such as Iran and Hezbollah, and bringing peace and prosperity and stability to the Venezuelan people and the Western Hemisphere more generally. Accordingly to the preservation of the foreign government deposit funds, is of the utmost importance to the United States. I therefore find that the possibility of attachment or the imposition of judicial process. So he's basically saying, like, if anybody else interferes with this and doesn't let me just do what I want to do in Venezuela, that it's a national security threat, right? No judicial process, no legislature, no nothing. Any of that will make this a national security threat. Any judicial process against the foreign government deposit funds constitutes an unusual and extraordinary threat to the national security and foreign policy of the United States, which has its source in whole or substantial part outside the United States, and I hereby declare a national emergency to deal with that threat. No judicial interference, no legislative interference. Either you let me do what I want to do in Venezuela, or you're threatening the national security. That's why it's a national emergency. Like, what the fuck? He knows that technically, or I guess on a third grade level, like if you don't know anything about the government and someone said, oh, well, the president gets to handle all national emergencies, then he can label anything a national emergency. That's why the court's telling him that his fucking tariffs are bullshit, right? Usually tariffs would go through Congress, but he's saying it's a national emergency, that other countries are ripping us off. So he sets all the tariffs. He's doing everything he wants to at the border because that's a national emergency, right? He said it was for fentanyl coming from Canada and Mexico. He's blowing people up in the water because that's a national emergency. He's grabbing other countries' leaders because that's a national emergency. He's blowing up fucking Iran because that's a national emergency. He's now going over to take over Venezuela's oil industry because that's a national emergency. He thinks, because when someone explains to you and they're like, oh, people, like, imagine you're in 5th grade civics class and someone says, well, what if Congress acts too slow because something's a national emergency? And they say, oh, well, in matters of national emergency, then the president has these extraordinary powers. Then he's like, I got it. Everything's a national emergency. Like, that's it.
To pick their own electors would be depriving them.
And then his lawyers try to come up with a reason. Enrique embarrasses himself.
That was a really good point. That Steele dossier, how many fake electors were cooked up as a result of that? Can I hear an answer from the panel for that? How many?
Give me one. Wait, you're asking the wrong question. Is that election interference?
Didn't the Steele dossier, wasn't it published after the election happened?
I'm just asking you a question.
Well, if it was after the election happened, then definitionally the answer would be no, if time only goes in one direction.
So Russiagate was before.
If time only goes in one direction?
All of that before.
No, so Russiagate was after the election. That's why it's such a stupid conspiracy. Because the person that hurt Hillary the most is probably Comey.
Yes, it wasn't.
Yes.
It wasn't. There was a PR campaign in 2016. I remember because I was there. I was in the 2016 campaign. So don't tell me that there was no Russia before 2016. That's election interference. That's exactly what it is.
2016 is a whole year. The election after the election was when the Steele dossier was leaked. Well, BuzzFeed published it. But it was after the election, so it's kind of the worst. It's kind of the worst thing ever. It doesn't really. Yeah, you keep saying that whole year. 2016 is a long. There's like 12 months, 365 days.
Yeah, the election was at the end of the year,
and the Steele dossier was published afterwards. Yeah.
Arithmetic, dude.
Wait, that was a really good point. That Steele dossier, how many fake electors were cooked up as a result of that? Can I hear an answer from the panel for that? How many?
It was actually, the Steele dossier was actually published right before Trump took office in 2017. I think it was like January 8th or something of 2017. But whatever.
Give me one.
$20 from Jay Sleish. If Trump called in the National Guard the second the violence started, it would wildly change my perception of his character. The record would show it, even if they arrived late.
That chatter's lying, Wick. They couldn't possibly be like holding himself to a standard. It's not true.
Yeah, the funny thing is, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter anybody here. But like, I thought that Trump was completely in the clear. It wasn't until I argued this up until 2022. I didn't think Trump did anything wrong. It wasn't until I looked at the timeline and everything else, and I saw all the people that were texting him, his own children, begging him. Sean Hannity, like so many people from Fox News, so many other lawmakers were begging him, please call these people off. And he did. He just sat in his room watching TV while him and his crony Giuliani were making phone calls to Congress and trying to encourage them to
for 187 minutes. And this people gets riled up saying, well, Jack Smith wiretapped the phones of the congressman. Yes. He got their records. He didn't see what was in the records. He didn't tap anybody's phone. This was after all the phone calls were made. He didn't read the messages. But Trump, while Congress was under attack from his own people, Trump was calling people inside the building saying, fix this. That's why the people outside are so mad. That's why they're coming in. That's why they're going to break in. That's why they're there. You fix this, they go away. You make me president, that mob won't get you. When would we ever let this slide? Imagine any third world country and a mob of people are breaking into their capital to kill their legislators. Okay? And the president's calling the legislators saying, I can call this off. I can call this off. I can send them home, but you got to make me president. Do you want to die in there? That's why they're mad. That's why they're upset. They're mad because you won't make me president. He was literally holding congressmen hostage while he called them and told them what to do if they wanted to fix the situation. The fuck out of here.
To change the election outcome.
Okay, $100 from Zone.
Well, I was just gonna say, wait, like the same thing was like I just thought this was a protest that got out of hand until I knew that it was organized by like Roger Stone, and it was the exact same MO as what they did with the Brooks Brothers riot, and they had planned this from the start, and there were false electors. Like if you can look at all of that and say, oh, but oopsie, he didn't mean to like have them storm the Capitol and delay the certification.
The false electors was huge as well.
You're just, I don't know why we waste time with these people.
And we already had like
they had people. Trump had people hiding in the basement of government buildings to pop out, sign some paperwork, and it was supposedly valid because they did it in the courthouse.
Steve Bannon said this in advance in that closed room. We hear his thing on audio recording. Roger Stone said in advance, Trump is going to declare victory the night of no matter what, and he's going to throw up bullshit about the mail-in ballots, which he tried to do. He literally tried to do that. He tried to declare victory. You heard them all call Fox News and try to bully them out of their election call because they were so ass-pained that they called Arizona correctly because they needed to throw up as much confusion as possible. Like, this is all planned in advance. And unlike you, with your conspiracies with zero proof of anything, all of this is just out in the open. And all of the former Trump allies, all the people that used to be his friends, isn't it crazy that all of them now testified against him, all of them hate him, that Barr turned against him, that his personal attorney Cohen turned against him, that all of his former attorneys, people like Sidney Powell and Giuliani and Mike Eastman are all disbarred over and over again, that all of their testimony died in court, that these cases all died on standing, which is the easiest thing in the world to pass, by the way, that every commission he put together to find voter fraud, none of it was ever found. You don't know a single positive conviction.
They did a really good job, and they still didn't put him in. They did a really good job of. They did a really good job of having their followers already pre-positioned to fucking not listen to anything about January 6th. It's over. It happened. They keep trying to blame it on me. It's bullshit. They walked in. They were peaceful. They let them in. Blah blah blah. If you watch, if you don't take into account everything Trump said, right, and you're just like, I'm going to keep an open mind, and you watch the January 6th investigation and testimony, and you don't come away thinking that Trump is the most dangerous fucking person for U.S. democracy ever, then you're just a piece of shit, right? You just don't care. You want a dictator. You want a king. You just want Trump to be king, right? Like, but they did a good job of being like, oh, they're making this up. Oh, they're hiding it. Nancy Pelosi didn't do this. And Trump wanted 1 million National Guard soldiers. They wouldn't give them. And they just, like the January 6th, everybody involved with the January 6th either said Fifth Amendment bullshit, or they're like, yeah, Trump's at fault. Yeah, Trump knew. Yeah, Trump sat in his office for 3 hours and 7 minutes while his daughter, his son, the people around him, people that knew him, his friends, while everybody called his office and said, please make them go home. They're breaking in. They're going to fucking kill us. And he said, no, we'll see how it works out.
Related to anything you bring up, and the only stuff you bring up is actually because Republicans engaged in voter fraud. Like people like Tina Peters or the Milwaukee person you just brought up. Like, you have nothing. You have absolutely nothing for any of this.
$100 from Sonia to say.
Even the videos of the protesting, you Brad, you couldn't even justify it on the videos that we watched earlier. It was the exact opposite of what you guys were claiming, and you were there.
I mean,
$20 from Jay Slice. If Trump called in the National Guard the second the violence started, it would.
The first obfuscation they tried was to throw people off was that it was Antifa, right? Then a video came out of them letting some protesters in while they were sneaking the senators away through the underground tunnel. And they're like, oh, they let them in. Then they're like, oh, it was peaceful. And then they started convicting people, and they're like, well, I know Jim from down the road. They just arrested him. He's not Antifa. They from the get-go, from day one, they were trying to change your mind about what you fucking saw. That was horrific. No one should watch that and be like, oh, they had love in their heart. They showed up with a guillotine demanding to kill Mike Pence. The Secret Service radioed in and told Trump, hey, there's a lot of people in D.C. today with guns. We're watching them come to where you're having your speech. They're seeing the magnetometers, right? That would show if they had weapons on them, and they're leaving. Like, these are diehard fans of yours that are clearly hiding weapons. They met with the Proud Boys the night before in a fucking secret garage and told them what the plan was.
Wildly changed.
It's all a joke.
Can you defend yourself against an incoming car by shooting at the driver? Is that how that works?
that's weaponizing a car. Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
so you will defend yourself. That's like a
look. I can't speak about any other state, but in the great state of Tennessee, a car becomes a weapon when you aim it at somebody and you can shoot somebody.
So just to be clear, that's not true. If somebody was standing in front of me in a parking lot,
and I the code.
That's great. Go find the code and read it from start to finish. And if you're goofing off with a friend in a parking lot, he's in front of your car, and you drive a little bit, and he pulls out a gun and starts killing you, he would not clear that. You're absolutely to that point. And
imagine how many times have you done this? What he's trying to justify. How many times have you been walking through the parking lot at a mall, and the person can't see you because they're backing out of a parking space, and they back up a little bit and they slam on their brakes. You're like, hey, right? Is that when you pull out your gun and start murdering people? You think you'd walk with that?
Get the Minnesota law. We can look at the DHS guidebook. We can look at the federal government guidebook. You're not supposed to put yourself in front of a car, which is obvious because one, a person can't stop a car with their body, and two, you shooting a person driving a car is not self-defense. You're not defending yourself. You'll just get ran over.
What was that last bit? Not defending yourself. What?
Shooting a driver of a car that's driving at you is not defending yourself. You're not defending yourself. You're just going to die.
Did he die?
No, he didn't die because she wasn't aiming the car at him.
Right.
That's the whole point. Can you defend yourself against an incoming car by shooting at the driver? Is that
you don't know about Roger Stone meeting with in the parking garage with Oath Keepers and the Proud Boys, and the Oath Keepers told them about the hotel room that they had in Virginia that they had stored all their guns in case they needed to fall back there and get weapons? He was in contact with these groups the entire time, through Roger Stone, basically. Right. Steve Bannon was on a right-wing radio show the night before and said, you better be there tomorrow. All hell is going to break loose. I wonder what he meant by that.
I have a question as a European who doesn't have insight into the U.S. population's opinions. Does the average Republican voter support the invasion of Greece?
Yes. The Oath Keepers had a hotel room where they kept somebody at, like a post, with radio equipment, where they decided to keep the majority of their weapons. A lot of them were still carrying concealed, right, tucked in their waistband, but like long guns, like ARs and rifles and scopes and shit, in a hotel room as a fallback location.
Greenland. So the average American only knows about Greenland because it was a really important territory in risk. It's the only thing we know about Greenland. It's the only thing I know about Greenland. The average American will follow whatever the average Republican will follow whatever Trump says because Trump is based and because it's a cult. I know that people are hyperbolic or some people are haters or some people are partisan, but when you analyze the Republican movement in the United States today, you just have to analyze it through the lens of a cult. You can't look at it as an ideologically possessed or driven movement, and you can't really look at it as a movement that was preceded by some other movement that you can base their political values on, because Donald Trump has done things that are just completely in contrary to prior conservative values, and none of it seems to matter right now with the Republican base. So when you're analyzing what the voters will support, you kind of just have to look at it as whatever Trump says, and you can try to figure out what Trump is going to say or do, and then that comes down to whatever makes him feel best, so whatever appeases his narcissism, and then you have to look at the people in his...
So the way they brought the Proud Boys in when it was all attached, I'm sorry, was it the Proud Boys or the Oath Keepers? The way they brought Oath Keepers in, attached to all this, is Roger Stone brought the Oath Keepers and claimed that they were Steve Bannon's private security detail. All of them. Roger Stone, Steve Bannon, the Oath Keeper leader, Stuart Rhodes, were all in a group chat with Enrique Tarrio planning out January 6th. That's how most of them got convicted, was the group chat.
See what they want. So your J.D. Vances and your Stephen Millers, basically. I have a question as a European who doesn't have insight into the U.S. population's opinions. Does the average...
Bloods and Crips are going to be meeting at a location, potentially, to cause an issue.
Why does it seem that whenever something like this happens, all the cops are willing to defend the most crazy...
One of my friends is like, oh, you need to check out Angry Cops video. I think he did a really good thing on this. I think it was awful. The shooting in Minneapolis was awful but lawful. No, I don't. Ever since Angry Cops played dumb about rules of engagement on land versus rules of engagement on sea, I'm done with Angry Cops, right? He's a mouthpiece for the administration. He's willing to lie about that. He's willing to lie about anything. I don't give a fuck what he's got to say.
No, they have professional pride where other cops doing bad hurts the profession as a whole. The reality is, and nobody on the left especially likes to hear this, is probably the vast majority of them probably do feel that way, but you get into a weird world where, one, the people that get on YouTube and make these shows, it's the same thing with anybody in the military, right? Our special forces and our intelligence people and everything are some of the most decorated, important people in our country, but some of the worst that we have to offer all end up being podcasters or YouTubers. They're always the bottom of the barrel, most brain damaged, most worthless. Like, yeah, I was special forces, I got a coffee every morning. Like, it's just like the people that are the most worthless of these things. I not as much anymore, but I used to get so many emails from people that worked in intelligence or military every time one of these podcasts were on, or every time I'd see one of these guys in an event, and they're like, oh my God, this guy is so full of shit. We never did this on the job. Nobody's like this. Nobody talks like this. All these people are considered cringe. Although I will say, and I make it a point to ask people, something I have heard more, unfortunately, over the last year is that...
I'm sorry. I've been saying Steve Bannon instead of Roger Stone, I think, for some of that. Roger Stone's the one who met with them. Mike Flynn and Roger Stone met with the Oath Keepers in the hotel parking garage on January 5th.
The political situation in a lot of these places has changed significantly, such that, like in the CIA, in the FBI, in your military offices, nobody used to talk politics. It was just like a big faux pas. You just wouldn't talk politics. But over the past year or so, apparently that's become a lot more common, where a lot more people are like talking politics.
Bloods and Crips are going to be meeting at a location, potentially, to cause an issue.
Why does it seem that whenever something like this happens, all the cops are willing to defend the most crazy shit? No, they have professional pride where other...
Dude, so I still was like... I think I was coming out of this phase, but I was still, you know, I had voted for Trump and shit, and I didn't think that Biden was a good job. I was still eating up a bunch of their bullshit at this time. And I was invited to go to January 6th. And I was like, no, man, I might freak out. My PTSD, I don't know how many people's going to be there, what it's going to turn into, this, that, and the other. And I didn't fucking go. I had a ride, had a hotel room, had everything. Like, I didn't book any of this. They just asked me to do it. And then we started watching the stream, and it was just like, I don't even know how to react to it, dude. People we knew and people that I watched all year were like, fucking kill him. We're getting in there. Hang Mike Pence and breaking down windows and shit. And like, what the fuck?
Oh yeah, big burly ice dudes murdering women. I have no interest to ever debate and never argue with anybody. I just don't like doing it. So if you're here for like debates or something like that, you're wasting your time.
Thank you. I don't want to ever have to confront ideas that are scary or difficult. I just want to scroll on my For You feed and all of my social media for the rest of my life while I get mind rotted by Elon Musk.
Like, it's not like politics is some kind of like unique thing that I like won't discuss with other people. No, I don't like debating and arguing with people. Like, I'm a fundamentally, profoundly non-confrontational person, and I'm an extremely passive and go along guy.
I think it's totally fine to have that position also. But I feel like his politics should like match. He should be like the non-binary, safe space, super effeminate, gay, femboy, whatever, trans stuff, furry person, and he should just do that all day. It's just kind of weird to be like, oh yeah, big burly ice dudes murdering women. It's so fucking cool. We'll kill more of them, kill civilians. I don't care if he's gonna kill everything. And it's like, you want to chat with another Twitch streamer?
I think his response was, this is how they fucking learn. You don't negotiate with them. You don't apologize to them. You fucking crush them. You kill another one.
I'm actually very non-confrontational. I actually, so I have anxiety, and I don't think that it actually proves anything. Okay, well, at least make the politics match the spinelessness, no?
Oh yeah, big burly ice dudes murdering women. I have no interest to ever debate and never argue with anybody. I just don't like doing it. So if you're here for like debates or something like that, you're really just...
I like Destiny. He's pretty good at what he does. Sorry, I'm looking for something. Well, you guys can watch this while I'm looking.
Finally, Kristi Noem is on the chopping block, and it's not because she's destroyed FEMA, that she sent ICE thugs out to murder U.S. citizens. It is because she is having an affair within Donald Trump's White House. It is no...
Pretty quick after January 6th, I think one of the craziest things that I was like, everybody's fucking lying to me. Like, when the claims come out about the election, I couldn't fathom that these people that held positions of trust and lawyers and this and that, well-known people, would just outright lie to us. I thought, hey, we've all got skin in the game, right? I'm not going to come out here and outright lie to you, and I don't really have that good of a reputation. But I don't want my reputation to be, he's just fucking lying, he knew all the time, he made it up. So it was really weird seeing all that. And I was watching a Steven Crowder video about all the fake voters that he found just in, like, Las Vegas or somewhere, and how he sent one of his reporters, him and one of his reporters went out to every address that they found that they believed wasn't a real voter. And like one of them was like under a bridge underpass and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, man, this is crazy. Like, they just obviously signed up a bunch of fake voters and this, that, and the other. Well, then I decided to research that myself. And Steven Crowder was absolutely lying about every goddamn, like, I didn't go to Vegas. I pulled it up on Google Maps. Like when it was like, the naming scheme in Las Vegas is pretty complicated, but when it was like 1207 Northwest Extension Main Street, he would go to like 1207 South Main Street. And every fucking address, he had like 35 of them. I started with one and I was like, well, this is wrong. Then I went to 2, then I went to 3. And that just like sent me in a spiral. Like, who the fuck is lying to me? I found the rest of the video about the suitcases underneath the table from Georgia. I found the rest of that video and I was like, they're fucking lying about this. Every time I checked out some type of election claim, everything was a fucking lie. And January 6th was just fucking wild to me. I didn't even know what to say. Like, what are they doing? This is not how we change president. And the more that came out about January 6th and the investigation and the details and the fake electors, it just kept getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. He was legitimately trying to overthrow the country because he lost. And they planned it beforehand. Steve Bannon, way before the election, says, hey, if he loses, he's gonna call it bullshit, and he's going to declare himself the winner, and that's where we're going to go from. Like, everything was crazy. And it was all premeditated.
No surprise that the scummiest people behave in the scummiest ways, but this is what should bring her down, amongst so many other scandals, and we are going to get into it all. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button because it goes a long way in supporting our work. Now, before we get into the reporting around Noam's affair, which is becoming increasingly public and increasingly difficult for Donald Trump to not have to deal with, I want to start with one of the best callouts of the gaslighting and the lying that we have seen out of Noam from friend of the show, Tim Miller. This clip has gone so viral, and if you haven't seen it, you need to. It's where I want to start, because Tim went off.
I will not be fucking gaslit by these people. I will not calm down the rhetoric and tone it down and be like, oh, you gotta understand the other perspective. Jonathan Ross murdered her. She talked to him calmly, said, dude, I'm not mad. Other agents stormed her car. She was afraid. He walks around to the front. She turns her wheel to get away from him. You can see that clearly. He can see it clearly. She goes to get away from him. Like, you hear a sound. Like, maybe it did bump into him. Not good, by the way. She should get there should be punishment for that. You can't not listen to cops. All right? You can't bump into a cop with your car. You can't do that. There should be punishment for that. But the punishment shouldn't be summary execution on the street. About getting like a little bumper car nick at worst case scenario at 2 miles an hour. I'm like, seriously. I've seen more violent attacks with bumper cars at Carousel Gardens than that. All right? Like, this is fucking insane. Okay? I will not abide any efforts to be like, oh, you have to feel bad for this guy, or, oh, shoot, it was a tough call in this moment. We all are watching. This is not a tough call.
I will not let these people lie to my face. I'm not going to let it happen. I'm not going to let them bullshit me. I'm not going to let them tell me that I can't believe my lying eyes. I'm not going to allow them to dictate what is and is not evidence that should be used against a man who should be convicted of murder. That ICE agent, that thug is a murderer. I'm not going to let J.D. Vance say he was fearing for his life as Renee Good.
I wouldn't say I wasn't researching at all. I was repeating their talking points, and I was looking deep enough, just deep enough to find their justification for their talking point, right? So, like, if they said something, I'd be like, is that true? And I would look and find the evidence that made them say that. And there's usually some type of evidence they've twisted or manipulated or not shown the full context or not dug any deeper, a very surface level to come up with this conclusion. And I would back it up with that. And I thought, oh, well, yeah, that's fine. Because I grew up believing a lot of these things, right? That if you just got to work your fucking face off, and if you don't make it, it's because the brown people took it from you kind of mentality. I don't know.
Was trying to de-escalate a situation in which she was sitting in her car and he was harassing her. I'm not going to let J.D. Vance do that. I'm not going to let Christy Noam do it. I'm not going to let anyone in this administration try to tell me what's what. Because if they do now, they always will be able to decide what the evidence is, decide who they get to trust, decide what the facts are. And then where are we? We are in a deeper Donald Trump police state, and that is not where I want to live. And right now, it's not just Donald Trump who's upset with Christy Noam, so are Republican senators of all people, and it's part of the reason why her firing is looking more likely. GOP senator turns on ICE Barbie over Minneapolis shooting. Republican senator Lisa Murkowski is picking a fight with her own party, and this time it's over an ICE shooting that Republicans have already made up their mind about. The Alaska senator has widened her existing rift with the GOP by publicly criticizing how the Trump administration is handling the federal investigation into the fatal shooting of a Minneapolis woman, Renee Good, by an Immigration and Customs Enforcement officer. She told The Hill that the decision to sideline state authorities is confusing and unnecessary at a moment of heightened.
Imagine a government official anywhere else shooting a citizen on the street, and there's outrage around it. Good or bad, there's outrage around it. And then the second most powerful person in that country comes out and says, shut the fuck up. They have absolute immunity because they're working for us, and we don't give a fuck what the area they're in has to say, what the local police has to say, what their investigative bodies have to say. Absolute immunity. Into that. We would doubt that from any other country in the world. Even if it was fucking the UK, right? But Trump was telling the truth when he said he could shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue and he wouldn't lose his supporters.
national attention. Murkowski took to Twitter on Thursday to urge a thorough and objective investigation into how and why this happened, arguing that such an outcome would require full cooperation from the Department of Justice and Homeland Security along with the local authorities. Her comments directly challenge Homeland Security Kristi Noem, whose department has asserted control over the probe. The Wednesday shooting, which killed 37-year-old Renee Nicole Good, a mother of 3.
And if you look into it, a lot of the smart people around, like fucking, I don't want to call Tucker Carlson and Hannity, everybody at Fox News didn't believe it. They knew the election wasn't stolen. They were more worried about their ratings and Trump endorsing this new startup, one OAN or whatever. So they're like, oh, we got to say it, or we're going to lose all our viewers.
Has ignited political outrage nationwide. When even Republican senators are saying, okay, we don't trust Kristi Noem because who would? Let's be real. Because who would? Who would trust Kristi Noem with anything? Apparently, you can't trust Kristi Noem to not be engaging in certain activities. Sleeping with members of the Trump administration. Let's not beat around the bush here. That is what Kristi Noem is doing. What does Kristi Noem do? Literally, she changes her outfits. She shoots commercials that enrich herself, her family, and her staff.
Have you seen her in a cowboy hat?
She tweets a lot. She's on Fox. She gets a lot of filler. She doesn't actually do anything. And it's one of the reasons why she may be facing the unemployment line soon. Donald Trump considering firing ally Kristi Noem over her alleged affair. Kristi Noem's job may be up in the air. Donald Trump is allegedly considering firing his Homeland Security Secretary over the employment of her alleged paramour, Corey Lewandowski, as her chief advisor. According to a report from Saturday, December 6th, 3 unnamed former DHS officials revealed that the White House advisors are frustrated by the situation and think Noem should be let go. Things are effed, one former official said of the pair's secret romance. It's horrible. They're going to destroy this place. I'm just hoping the new secretary gets here in time. The officials noted Trump, 79, may bid farewell in the new year as the married secretary's rumored affair with her chief advisor has been called DC's worst kept secret. Lewandowski, 52, who served as Trump's campaign manager during the 2016 presidential campaign, is also married. The rumor that Noem may be shown the door soon has been circulating for weeks and was even noted in a CNN report released on November.
No, Fox is doing what Fox has to do to keep making money, right? They've got all the boomers, they've got all the right-wing people, so they have to lie to them because when you just stick to mostly the facts beyond the surface level, there isn't a whole lot of positive stories you can spin over there. I saw some coverage from Fox News, and it was when all the Epstein files came out, right? It was like a huge dump of Epstein files that day, and it was like a breakdown of their coverage through the day, and they had a 2-hour segment on dogs that jump really high. Like they just have to avoid the topics at some point.
November 21st about a potential cabinet shakeup in 2026. Noem, who's receiving the moniker Ice Barbie as she's in charge of executing Trump's mass deportation plan, has claimed the rumors of her possible firing are incorrect. Moreover, an outlet reported that the White House spokeswoman Abigail Jackson wrote on Twitter on Sunday, December 7th, anonymous former staffers pretend to know what President Trump is thinking, and the Bulwark treats them as credible. This report and the Bulwark is total fake news. Secretary Noem is doing a great job implementing the president's agenda and making America safe again, she wrote in her since deleted post. So calling reporting fake and then having to delete it doesn't really bode well for your argument that the reporting is fake. What it looks like to me is that you're just in a state of crisis, and of course they would. But it is important to remember that Corey Lewandowski, who was obviously one of the bigger Trump allies through his entire political career, asked for one thing when Donald Trump was elected president in 2024, and that was for Kristi Noem to be in at DHS. That is what he wanted, not something for himself, right? And not an ambassadorship, not to be cut a check, because they do that. They do cut checks. He wanted Kristi Noem in at DHS, which I guess is better than being cut a check because she seemed to profit pretty nicely over there. That's what he wanted. He wanted Kristi Noem to
the whole thing's corrupt. All their commercial budget, millions and millions and millions of dollars of commercials where they chase Kristi Noem around to where she can ride on horseback and carry a rifle, all goes to their spokesperson's husband. McLaughlin, whatever her name is, Lauren McLaughlin, whatever her name is. Her husband is getting all the contracts for all the commercials.
have her political future set up by Donald Trump. Kristi Noem thinks she's going to run for president. I know, right? Kristi Noem thinks she is going to run for president. She sees herself as the future of the GOP, the face of the GOP. It's one fucking ugly face, by the way. And I know I'm going to get some comments, Jack. Maybe we lay off the physical appearance stuff. Maybe we tone down the language. No, it's Kristi Noem. She's a murderer. I'm not going to tone anything down when I'm talking about Kristi Noem. She is a disgusting person.
Face like the surface of the moon, dude.
Inside and out. And she is a liar.
And she was pretty before, dude. Like, she looked like somebody's mom, but she was pretty before. She was fine. Like, what the fuck is going on? She looks like a goddamn clown, dude. She just keeps changing. Getting more angular. Like, she could have done without the Karen haircut. What is this, bro? Mar-a-Lago makeover.
Means that she can shape a narrative to protect her thugs so they feel more comfortable going out and killing. What Donald Trump and J.D. Vance and Kristi Noem are worried about, and this is very important, isn't the one ICE officer who killed Renee Good, but it is the next slew of ICE officers who will be killing other U.S. citizens. And I also feel a little
a little guilty that I continue to say U.S. citizen, like that's what makes this so bad. It's that ICE is killing anyone. It's that ICE is killing innocent people. Renee Good's life did not have the value that it did because she was a U.S. citizen. It's because she was a person. She was a mother who leaves behind an orphan child, who leaves behind 3 children, and a partner, a wife, family, community, artwork. She's an artist. She's a member of her community. That is what ICE is trying to strip away community. And the only way to fight back against that, besides pointing out how bad Botox jobs that Kristi Noem keeps getting are, is to build it, to build that community. And no one has done that better than Zohran Mamdani, who is not letting ICE into New York City, who is fighting back against Trump, and actually has it pretty sad. Funny enough. And I want to hear what he said just recently.
Today, DHS Secretary Kristi Noem, you were on her mind, clearly. She was asked, she was in your city. She was asked about your statement on the shooting yesterday. And she said, and you basically said that as ICE attacks neighborhoods across the country, New York stands with immigrants. That was a big thrust
Misogyny is the best ogeny, I think.
of your statement. She accused you of putting, quote, illegal
It's the only one I know of.
people who have broken our law before New York City citizens. What is your response to that from Kristi Noem?
It's hard to truly make sense of that statement. All I can tell you is that here in New York City, we know that it's possible to be a New Yorker, to be an American, and also to be an immigrant. I'm one of the examples of all 3 of those things in one. And yet what we have seen time and again is an attempt to have cities and states give up immigrants to a federal administration's attempt to fulfill its pledge to create the single largest deportation force in American history.
By the way, the same guy that's married to the DHS spokesperson that's getting all the contracts to do all the ICE videos also got all the money from her governor fund when she did all the videos when she was a governor.
And as the mayor of New York City, I'm going to stand up for everyone who calls the city their home, and I'm going to do so while following the laws we have in the city, laws which include sanctuary city policies that prohibit ICE.
Look, if I was on the inside, like if I was a billionaire, if I was in that tax bracket getting all the cuts, if I could write off 100% of my brand new yacht purchase as long as it's 1.3 million or more, if if I could pay Trump a little bit of money and get my fucking $10 billion government contract, I'd be on their side too. The problem is they've convinced half the country that they're benefiting somehow, and they're not. It is wild to me. I can go on Facebook and make a post and be like, hell, fucking goddamn Elon Musk needs to pay some more in taxes. And people are like, you don't fucking know. You don't know what he's been through. You don't know what he does for this country. You wait. Why don't you pay your taxes? I'm like, what the fuck, dude? You are infinitely closer to me and you living under a bridge than you are to ever being a billionaire. You're not going to work to get there. You're not going to make it. You're not going to invent something. Like, you are not. We are way closer together with the homeless person down the street than you'll ever be to those people. Why the fuck are you fighting for them? Like, holy shit, dude.
From entering into New York City schools or properties unless they can actually provide a judicial warrant signed by a judge.
One of the reasons I was really looking forward to talking to you today, I mean, you never hold back, and I always appreciate that, is that in this moment of so much chaos and darkness in Washington, your announcement today was really a reminder that government can do good for the people, that if you have the will, if you have optimism about what is possible, that things can happen, people's lives can be made better. And this announcement today from you and Governor Hochul, I should just note, puts New York City on track to become the first city in the country to provide free universal childcare, which is incredibly significant. Again, you're on day 8. How did you make this happen?
I think this comes from many conversations that I've had with the governor and our teams have had, all about fulfilling the commitment we have made of transforming the most expensive city in the United States into one that's affordable. But frankly, this day is a result not just of Governor Hochul and myself, but frankly a result of New Yorkers who knocked on more than 1 million doors, who made more than 1 million phone calls, all in the hopes of winning the city that they deserved. And today's announcement, where the governor committed $1.21 billion to taking the first steps to establishing universal childcare here in New York City, it's a commitment that will provide universal childcare for every 3-year-old and start to provide universal childcare for every 2-year-old.
That is the leadership that we need from Mayor. I know, y'all know, I love to say that. Zohran Mamdani. I'm going to say it one more time. Mayor. Zohran Mamdani. Mayor. Sounds good, doesn't it? Damn, I love that shit. I'm just going to let it soak in.
Okay. Here's how I try to explain this to people. Like, we're on a different level. You don't understand. The average U.S. salary, or I think the median U.S. salary, is $61,984. Right? That's no joke. It's not a fucking exceptionally good salary. But let's say we make $62,000 a year. Okay. If you never spent a single dime, you make $68,000 or $62,000 a year, and you never spend a single dime. How long do you think it would take you to catch up? You don't spend a dime. You don't eat. You don't pay rent. You don't spend a dime of your $62,000 a year salary. How long do you think it would take for you to catch up to Elon Musk? $62,000 a year, saving 100%, $62,000 a year. How long do you think it would take? How many years to catch up to Elon Musk if he stopped earning money today? He can't earn anymore. $6.8 million years. 6,851,768 years. What the fuck are you arguing for that? Like, he's going to argue for himself, bro. He's going to pay the right people. He's going to make the right choices. He's going to invest. He's going to get what he doesn't need you to say anything for him. Let's get ours. Goddamn. Let's help the fucking people living in a goddamn tent. Let's feed some motherfuckers. Holy shit. I don't know. I don't get these people like take up for these other people.
You can click off the video if you need to. This is just a moment for me. Mayor Mamdani, we will continue to uplift on the show.
We do not share common interests, okay? He's going to take care of himself. He's going to pay the right people. He's going to get the laws passed. He's going to get all the contracts. He's going to do it. We don't have anything in common with Trump. We don't have anything in common with any of his kids or Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos or any of those people. We give a fuck what they think. They can all go fucking throw money at each other or whatever. How about we look at people that are a hell of a lot closer to us, from $200,000 a year down to homeless, and say, yeah, I think these people deserve to eat and have heat and a roof over their head. Yeah, I think we can afford some of those things. Who gives a fuck if they work really hard or not? Let's just do it.
Not that he needs us, but he's going to get our support. And if you want to support that, he does need us. Zoran loves us all. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video if you stuck around to the end, or a blue heart in the comments. You can also follow the show on Instagram at JD Cottrell over there. I truly love you all. Keep on fighting. Don't let them silence you. And until next time, I'll see you soon.
Fucking shit's insane, bro. I don't know. I'm poor, so if you like the show, use this link to support it so I can pay the bills. I am no Elon Musk, but I'm better off than Bert. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for being here. Thanks for hanging out with me. I appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed it. That's all I've got the patience for tonight. Sorry. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for being here. Support the show. I've got rent and electric and everything else to pay. Have a good night. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. I'm going to go try to get my blood pressure down before I go to sleep. Have a good night. Love you. See you. Bye.
But I can tell you this about if this douchebag happens to see this particular show, you don't have the fork and balls to call out the people on this planet by name and tell them.
I used to try to explain it with the.
You don't have the fork and balls. You don't have the balls.
People don't relate this to money somehow. I think it's a good example for me. I used to try to relate it to the time thing. Like 1 million seconds is less than 12 days. Okay, 1 million. And you might work your ass off and get extremely lucky and maybe sell a product or do this or do that or invest really well for retirement and be a millionaire before you die. Million, as in Mike. That's 1 million seconds is less than 12 days. 1 billion seconds is 32 years. You're not going to work really hard and become a billion. I don't give a fuck how lucky you get. Like, that's not in the cards. It's not happening. It's not cut out for me and you. So how about we just take care of each other?
Okay, Scott. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Listen off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. And they say that I'm a lunatic. Well, listen, bitch, I came equipped with a quick wit and a 6th sense for the stupid shit. Well, my true believer, y'all need Jesus. Praise the Lord, head to the extreme. All these false fucking prophets who profit off of gossip. Worshipping drums, cocking, begging for a throat deposit. Swinging fucking meat hammers like four in a thong. He's strapped to the shaft, beating his chest like he's King Kong. Starving for attention, I'ma make your gut burst. I'll be your huckleberry, I can quench that thirst. Baby eating lizard people, alien sex. What's next? Trump in a dress, fucking Flynn on his desk. A retard in a vest, climbing up 5G towers. Cause you told him if he did, he'd get fucking superpowers. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss him off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in them beds, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. I used to find clues too when I was high on shrooms. I found myself a tunnel that led to Jason Q's bedroom. Open his closet, I found some of his meat rockets. I strapped them to my shoes and then I flew through the roof. I found myself in orbit strapped to an F-16. High on amphetamine with Trump in between. Put on a light coat of baby oil and saluted the troops. He tapped me on the shoulder and said, "This is gonna be it." Whoa, wait. Stop. What? I'll get my files. Wait, what are you doing? Stop. Hold on. Fucking stop. Dude, come on. Seriously. My mom's an alcoholic. Oh, give me a...
I found out I got a few $100s in silver, so that's cool.
Piss him off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in them beds, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up.
I used to have a lot more silver, but when times were tough, I sold it. I just couldn't hang on to it and pay the bills and shit. But a few $100, better than nothing, I guess.
Cause you ain't seen none yet. Round 3. Down goes Nino. Please say it isn't so. Got him backed up on the ropes, trying to ram it down his throat. Now things are getting rocking. He was doing so well. It's all over. Hands on his shoulders, they ringing his bell. You got Frog News Network.
I hate seeing silver go up because I know how Phil scammed his way into so much silver and scammed all those old people and shit, stacking a bunch of silver, and that it just keeps making him wealthier and wealthier.
Who the fuck is in my window with this time of the night?
Whatever. Have a good night, guys.
With all their secret meetings, teaching all you fucking cretins about baby eating heathens. Believing in reasons with no meaning is bullshit.